All right, in this screencast, I'm going to show video analysis again, but I will also include the analysis of a second object. So it's kind of like video analysis level 2. We're going to start off by inserting a movie, and you could use your own movie, or I'm just going to pick a movie. Bungee jump sounds good. So I have an object, or I have a movie here. Can make it a little bit bigger so it's easier to see some things. I can play it through. Now, an issue with this video is there's really just one object moving, but I can still look at a different object just for fun. I can watch this dude's hand move or something just to make a point of how to analyze something else. So, to analyze this, I'm going to go back to the beginning of where something interesting happens. I really don't care about him standing still. So I'm going to forward or advance this until I find when this object is dropped. So that's frame 65. When I click this down here, it says Enable Disable Video Analysis. Essentially, this is telling the computer, hey, I want to analyze this. Once you click on that, the graph should automatically populate with position and velocity information. The data should as well. So that's great. The next thing I'm going to have to do, or that I recommend doing, is sync the movie to the graph. So the movie time is the 65th frame, which is this time. The graph time, I want that to show up as 0 seconds. So I'm starting at 0 down here. That's just cleaner for me. I like that. And now I need a coordinate system. So set origin. This really doesn't matter. You need to pick something. I'm going to select this right here. Where the ball is pointing is the positive x direction. Straight up right now is the positive y direction. I can rotate that if I want to. I'm going to leave it as is. So what you should see is this object speeding up in the negative y direction. That's what I'm expecting. I can hide that. It's been defined. Now it's hidden. I also need to know something, the length of something. So I'm going to set the scale. And it looks like the bar in the background, I can use that as a length. I should have measured this, but I haven't. I'm going to say that's 0.4 meters. It could be horribly wrong. The important thing is when you do this for real, you absolutely need to know the length of something in the shot that's the same depth of field away from the camera as the object you're analyzing. But anyhow, there it is, and I can hide it if I want to. When I want to get data points, as before, I add a data point. Now I'm going to click. I'm going to try to click the same thing over and over again. I'm going to click right where this little thing's hair is. As best I can, I'm going to try to click on where the yellow hair begins. You can see it's kind of difficult to see as this object moves. I'm just going to do my best. Every time I click, it self-advances, and now we see the object coming back up. All right, I'm going to say that's enough data. And just to be safe, I'm going to select the select tool instead of the add data points. So here is the first set of analysis, and I can auto-arrange it. All right, so we have data. We have a bunch of data points on this first object. If all those points are distracting when you want to collect more data, you can hide those points here with toggle trails, just so you know. It's kind of a nice thing. So I can see them, now I don't. Now I can see my origin, now I don't. Now I can see the scale, now I don't. So that's a good feature. Now the other thing you need to know is this button right here for add or set active point. I can add a new point series for a second object. Now when I add points, you can see this is already selected. It's looking for something else. just so I don't mess up, I'm going to switch to select, and I want to go back to the beginning. If I press this back button too quickly, it asks for this to change some controls. You don't really need to worry about it. Just take your time. Or use this. And what I would recommend is find the same frame. So here I see that first blue dot, 65th frame. So I'm at the same time for the second object. Now I'm going to select the points and I'll pick some other object. Now you would have an actual relevant object to look at. I'm going to pick something stupid. I'm going to pick this guy's thumb. Nah, maybe that's going to be difficult. His foot. Right here, I'm going to click on his toe. And it advanced. I might want to see the trails. There it is. There it is again. His foot has not moved. This is the most exciting data analysis in the history of data analysis. I'm really hoping at some point his foot moves. If all these dots here are bothering me, I could toggle them so I don't see them anymore. And I'm going to go ahead and do the analysis for the same amount of time I did the other one. Oh, and that was my last data point. I move over here to select. Now on my graph, I can see lots of stuff. This one here is parabolic. You can see an acceleration or constantly changing velocity of the little troll. Down here towards the bottom, there's a change, and that's when the bungee is maybe more activated. So I could do a curve fit. The Y is more interesting. That looks kind of quadratic. I could try it. Looks pretty good. Data fits pretty well. So I could do that curve fit. If I extend it too much, it starts to look worse, actually. And that's because the motion changed. We went away from free fall, and now we have kind of a bungee motion again. But you can change where the brackets are to isolate only the region you really want to analyze. So that's an important feature. I could also analyze that same region for something else. Let's say the Y position of the person's foot. That's Y2. And I'm going to think, let's see, that looks pretty much linear. Try it. Yep, pretty linear. All right, so we've done the analysis now on two different things. This slope, by the way, it looks kind of funky. Negative 5.921. This says times 10 to the negative 15th power. So that's essentially zero. Zero slope indicating constant velocity. Some other stuff that you might want to do is clean the graph up. When I left click over here and then select more, I can show exactly or select exactly what I want graphed. Only Y and Y2 maybe. And so I can see the vertical position of each of these. I could insert a graph. I'm going to left click and tell it exactly what I want to see. I could do that with Y velocity and Y velocity too. So I can see those two things. Make it a little bit cleaner. I can auto arrange it. And I could fit again over the same range perhaps. Oh, maybe that's not the best decision. Either way, I can fit. I can select some stuff and do a fit for Y velocity or Y velocity 2. What might actually be better, because it's getting a little bit busy, I can add a page. You know what I should have done? Add a page. I want to copy the current page because then it brings all the data along with it. So on my page 2, I could have just the velocity stuff. And on my page 1, I could have just the position stuff. That way it's not going to be too cluttered. The other thing I'll typically ask you to do is insert text. And in that text box, you can type in a description of the graph, type in whatever it is you need to type in. So you just select insert on that and insert text, and it's going to bring up a text box. Also, again, page auto arrange will put everything together so you can see it, which is a nice feature. So here I have two different position versus time graphs on the same set of axes. I can scale those a little better, so I start from 0 time. I just left click on the far left number, press 0. And then this other one is scaled fine. I can see whatever velocity it has, nothing going way above here. So it seems like it's good in terms of scale. It's labeled appropriately with position in meters here and time in seconds. If I go over to page 2, again, I could insert a text box where I could type some stuff. I can auto arrange it. I can shrink the video. I can do all kinds of things to make it all fit. If I wanted, I could curve fit this one or linear fit it because it's a horizontal line. Oh, crud, wrong one. There, the slope is essentially 0, showing no change in velocity. Sorry, no velocity. Also no acceleration. So anyhow, hopefully that helps for data collection if you need to analyze the motion of two different things. All right, that's all I got.